What is going on, everyone? Griffin here, coming at you with some Dallas gameplay, and today we're going to give my final thoughts on Canals 2.0. So let's head over and let's talk about it. So after a lengthy departure from the game, Canals finally made a comeback back in October, November of 2023. We finally got a reworked version of Canals, which in a lot of people's estimations did not need to be reworked whatsoever. It was a perfect, fantastic demolition map. Now, the reason why that it got reworked, at least in my estimation, was specifically because they wanted this map to be playable on more game modes other than just demolition, right? And I get it. From a developer standpoint, you want all the maps to be able to be shareable across all of the queuable modes. Unfortunately, Canals was not one of those maps because it is a very, very, very objective, very demolition single life mode focused map inside of Rogue Company. And there were several that needed to get some type of rework treatment. High Castle, definitely one of those maps. And we did get an updated version of that with High Castle Omega. And it does play on every game mode, including 6v6 TDM and Strikeout, King of the Hill, and all that stuff. And the same with Canals 2, right? Canals 2 now has the ability to be successfully played or somewhat successfully played, depending on your definition of successful, across all of the game modes within Rogue Company. It was a sad day whenever the developers decided that they wanted to go in and make some very significant changes to the map, but I think the community understood. They were just very sad that one of the fan favorite maps within the game was removed completely. And a lot of this information, or at least the things that informed the developer's decision, from what I've gathered, was based on community feedback, such as the surveys and things that they put out. And that Canals is one of the least popular, least played maps, or, you know, unplayed maps people don't enjoy, etc., etc. And the reason why is because whenever you look at the broad player base that Rogue Company had at that time, you had the majority of the players playing specifically inside of Strikeout, right? And it's not a strikeout map. It never was a strikeout map. So of course, whenever Canals is in the strikeout pool of game modes, it's not going to feel great to play that map. Whereas the demo players absolutely love the map. Even after they made changes to the map a couple of times by opening and closing specific windows off, opening the middle up just a little bit, things like that, it was still a map that players loved inside of demolition. Didn't play well on any of the other game modes, but it was a demolition map, right? They removed the map completely out of the game, reworked it, and put it back into the game as Canals 2, not Canals Omega, not Canals 2.0, not Canals Reimagined, no cool tagline, just Canals 2, right? Which is a stupid name. I'm sorry, but it's just it's a terrible name for the map, Canals 2, right? The community overall very, very much disliked this new version of Canals, and I was absolutely one of them, to the point where I made a video on how the developers could fundamentally fix the map itself and make it flow a little bit better and make it feel a little bit better, especially on demolition, right? Because that's what I primarily play, is demolition. That wasn't taken into consideration. You know, I dropped the information, basically was told that since they pulled the map out of the game for so long, it was over a year, and they made all these significant changes to the map, that there's no intentions for them to re-pull the map down, make more changes to it, and put it back up. And we can't get the original version of the map because the original version of the map no longer exists. It was completely overwritten at some point whenever they were developing Canals 2. So the OG Canals doesn't exist. I don't know why they couldn't put it back into the game like they did with High Castle and High Castle Omega, but there was a decision made there, and it was a bad one, right? So I've played on the map quite a bit. It seems like they up the appearance rating of Canals 2 in all queuable modes, whether it be demo, strikeout, quick play, doesn't matter. Even though it has its own mode that you can queue into, it seems like they up the appearance rate of the map. And I've played it quite a bit. And currently, my thoughts as of March of 2024, it's still the worst map inside of Rogue Company. It is terrible to play on, regardless of what game mode that you are playing. It feels bad on King of the Hill. It feels bad on Strikeout. It feels somewhat okay on Demolition, but there's just more. You have more places that people can approach you from, and that's what feels bad about it. Most maps, especially in single life game modes, most maps have a very consistent flow to them. Normally it's a 2 or a 3 lane map. You kind of have access points kind of sprinkled throughout the different lanes of the map, and you kind of had a general idea of how the enemy team was going to rotate. You always had some wild cards here and there, but you could kind of cover the places that you needed to cover, and it came down to an actual like skillful outplaying of, you know, the other team or vice versa, right? With Canals 2, it's just we've got 18 different ways to access this bomb plant site, and we've only got 4 people if we're lucky. So let's just like, what can we do to minimize the amount of risk that we have on someone getting the drop on us? Because there's a lot of characters within the game that can mask their footsteps by using perks and or abilities. And then sometimes the footstep audio just doesn't even work within the game anyway. So on demo, it feels okay-ish. It feels better on demo than it does on Strikeout and King of the Hill, in my opinion. And the reason why is because that center part of the boat where the warehouse used to be, where they just opened it up into this like nonsensical middle area of the map where you have so many different access points to get into that center point of the map. Sure, it makes for some interesting team fights, but 9 times out of 10, those team fights are someone shooting at someone, your teammate gets the drop on that person, and their teammate gets the drop on that person, and it's like a domino effect. That's inevitably how it feels. It doesn't feel like there's a line in the sand and we're fighting over this area, we're fighting over this territory. It feels like someone flicked a row of dominoes and they're just toppling over. It's just a feels bad all the way around, at least in my opinion. And like I said, I made a video explaining on how I would fix the map overall, because there's a lot of areas where you can see from one side of the map all the way to the other side of the map. Not to mention that one of the major reasons, other than it not being playable on multiple different game modes, one of the major reasons why they decided to actually go in there and make changes to it was because Juke broke the map. Juke was able to exploit the map by using her, you know, passive ability, where instead of rolling, she actually has her juke boot things, and you could use those to get into areas of the map that you weren't intended. They somehow made it worse to where now if you have any characters that have anything that boosts their speed, just slightly, Switchblade, passive ability, the Lancer ability, evade, anything like that that boosts your speed, you can use it to get pretty much on top of everything on the map if you wanted to. Luckily, you can't shoot through the top of the map into people below the, you know, on the actual playing surface of the map, but you can get on top of legitimately everything on the map if you wanted to. So they actually made the problem, one of the problems that they were trying to fix, they actually made it worse overall. But overall, my thoughts on Canals 2 is it's just not a great map. It's just not. They took a map that was great for one game mode and they made it terrible for all game mode. And that's the biggest problem with it, in my opinion. But be sure to let me know what you think in the comments down below. What are your thoughts on Canals 2 overall? And what would you do to change the map to make it run and or feel better? Also, be sure to check that description for links to Facebook, Discord, and Twitter. Those are the places to contact me. If you haven't already, please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. If you've already subscribed to the channel, then consider hitting that join button to become one of the 256 crew members. Lastly, on Thursdays and also on Sundays, I will be streaming here on YouTube. So if you are interested and available, please feel free to stop by and say hello there. Thanks for watching, guys.
I needed that.
Just make one throw, that's all I ask.
Enemies have been wiped out.
Nervous, aren't ya?
Objective acquired. Defend it.
Cena's farting and it's fucking awful.
Rank. Dog fart fucking thing.
Enemy spotted.
Speaking of fucking rank, this weather's goddamn rank, dude.
Dude, it is cold as fuck over here right
So
now. Windy.
Yeah, same.
What the hell?
This is that fucking blackberry winter or whatever.
I think we already had that. This is raspberry winter or something like.
This is the fuck you winter.
Yeah,
Nervous, aren't ya?
this is climate change.
Actual climate change.
Yeah. The pollen is wild, dude. I made a video. I think I have it on my tablet, but I took the pollen because of the rain, like it's washed up in front of the shop here. And
Yeah.
it's just huge chunks of it, dude. Just like puddles of pollen. And I did like a slow pan over it with my camera, and I put that old death. Oh, death.
Won't you spire me over to
Yeah.
another year?
This shit kicked my ass this year. Fucked my ears up, my nose, my throat. I was like, I need to go to one of them. Go see me in ears, nose, and throat.
Enemy spotted.
Enemies are out of reinforcements.
Griffin, when you did that stratagem program, I found the published page for that file, you know?
Yeah.
Did you go into your settings and turn like where it said tap and
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah?
Reinforcements remaining. We've lost the objective.
Did you read where it said at the bottom? It was like, look, this ain't technically cheating, but it might, you know, use at your own risk
Yeah.
because of the way that it does it so fast. I mean, it shouldn't be. I mean,
Well, dude, I've got
it's a
mine.
hotkey.
I've got mine set to where I can type it faster than I can do that.
Yeah,
Like I didn't go and adjust the speed of it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So therefore, like if they looked at it, that was the reason I left it that way, just in case. I'm like, dude, I can type faster than I can press. You know what I'm saying? Like do the thing, but it's just